Once upon a time, there were two horses named Whoopsie and Daisy. Whoopsie was a majestic black stallion with a shiny coat, strong legs, and a long mane that flowed behind him as he galloped. He had a kind and gentle expression on his face, and his brown eyes sparkled with curiosity and intelligence. Daisy, on the other hand, was a beautiful chestnut mare with a white blaze on her forehead. She had a sweet and gentle disposition, and her soft brown eyes sparkled with kindness. As they explored the fields beyond their stable, they soon realized that they had gotten lost. They didn't recognize any of the landmarks around them, and the sun was setting. They became worried and decided to try and find their way back home. Just when they were about to give up hope, they heard a tiny voice calling out to them. It was a mouse who introduced himself as Jerry. Jerry was a small mouse with brown fur, big ears, and a long tail. He had bright black eyes that sparkled with intelligence and mischief. He wore a tiny red bow tie and carried a small backpack that held all his supplies. As they journeyed through the fields, Jerry made vague suggestions about the direction they should take, but Whoopsie and Daisy found it hard to understand his instructions. He would say things like, "If you go towards the place where the tall tree with the bent branch is, you will find your home." They walked for hours, following Jerry's guidance, but they still couldn't find their way back to the stable. Just as they were about to give up, they heard the sound of another animal in the distance. They followed the sound, and soon they saw a familiar sight: their stable. They were overjoyed and ran towards the stable as fast as they could. They were greeted by their owner, who had been worried sick. They were fed and groomed, and then they went to their stalls to rest. However, as Whoopsie and Daisy settled into their stable, they heard a strange noise coming from outside. They peeked out of their stalls to see Felix, a sleek black feline with piercing green eyes that seemed to glint with malice, undoubtedly devising a plan against Jerry. Whoopsie and Daisy were horrified and decided to protect Jerry. They told Felix that Jerry was their friend and that he was not to be harmed. Felix tried to trick Whoopsie and Daisy by pretending to be friendly. He approached them with a fake smile on his face and told them that he too was lost and needed their help to find his way back home. Whoopsie and Daisy, being kind-hearted animals, were fooled by Felix's act and offered to help him find his way back home. However, Jerry was suspicious of Felix and warned them not to trust him. Felix tried to catch Jerry by pretending to be injured. He pretended to have twisted his paw and asked Jerry to come closer to see if he needed help. Jerry, who was still suspicious, refused to go near Felix and warned the horses. They realized that Felix was trying to catch Jerry, and they quickly chased him away. Whoopsie and Daisy were grateful to be home safe and sound, and they were happy to have Jerry as their companion. They learned to always be on their guard and to trust their instincts. They lived happily ever after in the stable, with Jerry by their side, and the memory of Felix as a reminder of the danger that may lurk around the corner. The end.